Most people in that hospital never noticed him. They walked past him every day, sometimes twice a day, morning, evening. They noticed the clean floors, the empty bins, the quiet corridors, but not the man who made all of that happen. He didn't wear a badge that stood out. He didn't sit behind a desk. He didn't speak in meetings. If he wasn't there one morning, people would complain. But while he was there every day, he was almost invisible. And that's where this story begins. Not with ambition, not with a big dream, not with someone who believed in themselves, but with a man who felt still, not unhappy, not desperate, just quietly aware that his life hadn't moved in a long time. And one ordinary evening, after a shift like any other, he noticed something small, something most people would walk past. And that small moment changed the direction of his life in a way no one expected. Stay with me, because if you've ever felt invisible or stuck or unsure where to begin, this story might feel uncomfortably familiar. For a long time, no one paid much attention to Liam. Not because he did anything wrong, not because he wasn't good at his job, simply because his job didn't invite attention. Liam worked as a cleaner in a small hospital on the outskirts of town. Not a big city hospital, not a place filled with flashing lights and constant urgency. Just a steady building, brick walls, long corridors that smelled faintly of disinfectant, paper, and coffee that had been sitting too long. The kind of hospital where life didn't move fast, but it mattered quietly every single day. Liam knew the building better than most people. He knew which doors creaked when you opened them too quickly, which lights flickered before they went out, which corridors stayed cold even in summer. His shifts rotated. Some weeks he arrived before sunrise, when the hospital was still half asleep and the day felt undecided. Other weeks he stayed late, long after visiting hours ended and the building settled into a softer, slower rhythm. He cleaned wards, emptied bins, mopped floors that would be dirty again within hours. He wiped handrails, sanitized door handles, replaced soap dispensers and paper towels. The work was repetitive, but he did it carefully, room by room, floor by floor, not because anyone was watching, but because people depended on the building being clean, even if they never thought about who made it that way. Most people walked past him without really seeing him. Some nodded politely, some said thank you without slowing down. A few didn't notice him at all. Liam didn't mind. At least that's what he told himself. This was how the job worked. This was normal. The work was steady, the pay covered the rent, and at the end of the day, he went home tired in a way that helped him sleep. A physical tiredness, a clean tiredness. For a long time, that felt like enough. But there was one moment each day that always felt slightly uncomfortable. It happened near the end of his shift. As he pushed his trolley along the second floor, he passed the staff office. Doctors, administrators, nurses, sitting at desks, leaning towards screens, talking through problems, planning the next day. Sometimes the door was closed. Other times, it was open. When it was open, voices drifted into the corridor. Not secrets, just work, but work that moved things forward. Liam never stopped to listen. He respected boundaries. He knew his place. But he always slowed down just a little. Not because he wanted their jobs, not because he believed he deserved to be there instead, but because he wondered what it felt like to be useful in a way that wasn't invisible, to solve problems instead of quietly removing their traces. Liam was 36. He didn't feel behind in life. He paid his bills on time. He lived alone in a modest flat not far from the hospital. He had a small savings account. Nothing about his life was falling apart, and yet nothing was really moving either. Life felt paused, not stuck, not desperate, just paused. Most evenings followed the same pattern. He got home. He made something simple for dinner. Pasta, soup, eggs. He ate at the small table by the window. Sometimes he watched people outside, heading home from work, talking, laughing, carrying bags. Not envy, just observation. Then he turned on the television, not because he cared what was on, but because silence felt heavier than noise. Phone in hand, he scrolled. News headlines, short videos, articles he wouldn't remember. Occasionally, something caught his attention. A story about someone retraining in their 40s, a video about learning a new skill, an article about starting again. He never clicked. Not because he didn't believe in change, but because those stories always seemed to start with confidence, with certainty, with someone who already knew what they wanted to become. Liam didn't have that. He wasn't particularly confident, but he wasn't hopeless either. He just didn't know where to begin. And when you don't know where to begin, doing nothing feels safer than moving in the wrong direction. One night while finishing a late shift, something small happened. Nothing dramatic. Nothing worth telling anyone at the time. Liam was cleaning an empty consultation room near the end of the corridor. The lights were still on. Someone had left in a hurry. A chair pulled back, a notebook left open, a tablet resting on the desk. As he wiped down the surfaces, the door opened behind him. A nurse walked back in, looking flustered. "I'm sorry," she said quickly. "Did you see my tablet? I must have left it here." Liam pointed to the desk. It slid behind the monitor. She looked relieved immediately. "Oh, thank you," she said. "I've been looking everywhere." As she picked it up, the screen lit up. Charts, notes, rows of information neatly organized. She laughed softly. "If I lost this, I'd be in real trouble tomorrow," Liam shrugged. "Looks important." "It is," she said, "but it's really just information. Once you know how to organize it, it's manageable." She hesitated, then added, almost to herself, "Most of the job is just understanding systems." Then she thanked him again and left. The door closed quietly behind her. The room went still. Liam stood there longer than he needed to. Systems, he thought. Not passion, not talent, not confidence. Systems. The word didn't feel intimidating. It felt practical. It didn't promise anything dramatic. It simply suggested that things could be learned step by step. That word followed him home. Not loudly, not urgently, but it stayed. The next morning, Liam woke up earlier than usual. Not by an hour, not by some heroic decision, just 20 minutes. The flat was quiet, morning light slowly spreading across the room. He made a cup of tea and sat at the small kitchen table. For a moment, he considered going back to bed. Instead, he opened his laptop. He didn't search for new career or change your life. Those phrases felt too big, too abstract. He typed something much simpler: how to organize information better. That search led him somewhere unexpected. Basic spreadsheets, simple data tracking, beginner courses that promised nothing except understanding the basics. Nothing dramatic, nothing expensive, just skills. He clicked on one course, watched the introduction, paused it, then signed up. Not because he believed it would lead anywhere, but because it felt manageable. That morning, he spent 20 minutes learning how to sort data in a spreadsheet. Columns, rows, simple formulas. He didn't understand everything, but he understood enough to feel curious. Then he closed the laptop and went to work. For the first few weeks, nothing changed. Liam didn't tell anyone, didn't announce a plan, didn't set goals. He just kept doing 20 minutes most mornings. Some days he forgot, some days he was too tired, some days he stared at the screen and felt stupid. But more often than not, he showed up. 20 minutes. Then stop. That was the rule. Slowly, without trying to, he started noticing things at work. Cleaning schedules that overlapped for no reason. Rooms checked twice in one shift, but missed in another. Supplies ordered too early, then running out later. He had noticed these things before, but now he noticed patterns. He started writing them down, not in a notebook, in a spreadsheet, just for himself. No one asked him to do it. It wasn't part of his job. It was simply something he could organize. After a month, he looked at what he'd made. It wasn't impressive. It wasn't polished, but it made sense. One afternoon, he showed it to his supervisor. Not confidently, not dramatically. He said quietly, "I noticed this. It might help." The supervisor looked at it longer than Liam expected, scrolled, paused, read carefully. "This is useful," she said. "Did you make this?" "Yes." "Could you do one for the whole floor?" Liam nodded. That was all. No praise, no announcement, just trust. Months passed. Liam was still cleaning, still pushing the trolley, still wiping down surfaces, but his days felt different. He spent part of each shift helping organize supply orders, tracking schedules, reducing small inefficiencies. No promotion yet, no big changes, but something had shifted. He trusted himself a little more, not because he felt confident, but because he had evidence. There were doubts. Plenty of them. Some mornings he thought, this isn't going anywhere. Some nights he wondered if he was just making himself busy, but he didn't stop, not because he felt motivated, because stopping would mean giving up something that finally made sense. One afternoon, a delivery arrived late. Boxes blocked a fire exit. Liam checked his spreadsheet, same supplier, same day, same issue. He mentioned it quietly to the supervisor. They changed the order schedule. The problem disappeared. After that, people started asking him questions, small ones. How would you track this? Can you take a look at that? About 9 months in, a junior administrator left suddenly. Things became messy. Processes weren't documented. Tasks fell through gaps. The department head approached Liam. "You've been organizing things lately," she said. "Would you mind stepping in temporarily?" Temporarily. That mattered. Low risk, no pressure. Liam agreed. For 2 weeks, he documented processes, tracked requests, made information visible. When the replacement arrived, the department head said, "We should keep you involved." When the official offer came for a junior facilities coordination role, Liam didn't celebrate. He read the email twice, then sat quietly. This wasn't a leap, it was a continuation. The first months were uncomfortable. New desk, new expectations, meetings where he spoke little and listened a lot. Sometimes he felt slow, but the skills held. He kept organizing, kept documenting, kept asking, "What's the system here?" 3 years passed without ceremony. Liam's role changed, then changed again. More responsibility, more trust. One day, he walked down the same corridor he used to clean. The staff office door was open. This time, he stepped inside. Not as a visitor, as part of the conversation. Later, a younger cleaner asked him, "How did you end up here?" Liam thought for a moment, then said, "I started with 20 minutes a day, and I didn't stop." That was how it spread. Not as advice, not as motivation, but as possibility. Because inspiration doesn't always come from big stories. Sometimes it comes from noticing that ordinary change is built quietly by people who don't wait to feel ready, by people who simply begin where they are. And if you're listening to this right now, feeling tired in that familiar way, not hopeless, just still. Maybe you don't need a plan yet. Maybe you just need 20 minutes tomorrow morning to pay attention to what could be organized, learned, or improved, and see what happens next. Thank you for listening until the end. If this story resonated with you, please like and subscribe to the channel to listen to more stories with me.